What's going on, everyone? So let's talk about JJ Redick here for a moment, because he is going to be tested right out the gate. Literally, right out there. First 5 games of the Lakers season is brutal. And they have several just brutal stretches. I mean, the Lakers could easily start 0-5, start the season. And in the same breath, I look at this team and I'm like, better coaching, better health, and just another year of chemistry and consistency. They could easily go 5-0, right? Like, what are we going to get? But my thing is, at the end of the day, JJ Redick, it is his first year. He's a first-year head coach who doesn't have a huge resume of coaching experience to lean on and go, oh, man, he'll be fine right out the gate, right? There's a lot of question marks immediately, and he doesn't have any, lacks. Like, there's no, your first 5, 4 out of your first 5 games are against, bottom-feeding teams. Like, he'll be fine. He'll be able to figure it out. We'll finish 4-1. Like, no, it's literally just, boom, right out the gate, you're getting haymakers, right? And usually, first 20 games or so is kind of the figuring it out, right? Usually you have a couple new players trying to integrate, you're trying to test some rotations, right? Lakers even last year, right? Dealing with injuries early on, all that stuff. That's why I was very defensive of Darvin Ham early on, right? People were ready to, grab their pitchforks. I was like, hey, first 20 games, we don't have this terrible, we're not 2-10 again. Like, we're doing well. There's consistency issues. There's clear holes and issues. He's testing different lineups and rotations. That's fine, right? That's how you usually do it. And then you get it all together. Then we went in the in-season tournament games. We handled business through all that. We won the championship. And it was we'll be fine. We'll be good. And then Darvin Ham just went off the rails. Literally went off the rails. And even through all that, Lakers still won 47 games, right? Even through that 10 out of 13 stretch that we lost, still won 47 games. If we won half of those games, we would have been the top 4 seed, right? So I do believe in this team. But the problem is JJ Redick, who I do believe will be a good coach. I actually have a lot of faith and excitement for JJ Redick. I know some people are on the fence. I know some people think he's going to be terrible. I know some people are in the camp with me that are like, yeah, he's going to be great. But he's still a first-year head coach that's going to be trying to navigate and figure stuff out. Now, I do like the overall coaching staff better than what Darvin Ham had. So even if you don't think JJ Redick is better than Darvin Ham or will be better than Darvin Ham, or you think that they're both terrible, whatever, JJ has a better overall staff, right? So I do think that is going to go a very long way. And JJ seems like a guy, based on what he's talked about and stuff like that, that is open and willing to kind of just, listen to his staff. He wants it to be a collective effort, hive mind type thing. He doesn't want necessarily his answer to be the final answer. It's just, hey, what's best for the team, he's open and listening to. So my hope is Scott Brooks, I'm blanking on the other head coach, but yeah, basically our head coaches, our assistant head coaches, right? Those two, I believe, will come in and be able to kind of help mitigate some of the bad stuff early on, right? And help kind of keep the ship straight, so to speak, right? I really think that could go a very long way. McMillan, there we go. I knew it'd come to me. That's why I was like, I'll just keep going, Tyler, right? It'll come to you. But yeah, if Brooks and McMillan, their experience and their previous just knowledge of early on basketball and stuff, I'm hoping that they can kind of keep the ship straight. And then, JJ can kind of go through his hurdles, kind of go through his struggles, right? Kind of figure stuff out. Obviously, again, there's going to be some experimentation, I'm sure. Most teams do, unless you're a team, like Boston, they know what their 5 is. They just won a championship with that. But the Lakers, who it's like, okay, do we go Jared Vanderbilt? Do we go Rui Hachimura? Does D'Lo and Reeves make sense, or do we need to end up bringing one of them off the bench? Right? There's going to be little things, and then even early on, right? Like not even necessarily with the starters, even with just your rotation in general, right? You have faith in guys, right? Like Dalton Connect might be in the rotation early, and it doesn't have it early on, and he's just like, I can't keep playing this kid. He's not there yet, right? Like there's little things that could be different. Christian Wood versus Jackson Hayes, right? Christian Wood is just better for the Lakers, then he probably plays more than that. Right? Like there's a lot of factors that go into that, little injuries, little knickknacks. So the first like 20 games or so, you're going to have just natural experimentation. All teams kind of do it. All teams kind of play guys that you see later on just don't get any run because it's like, all right, they just weren't very good. Right? That's what you're supposed to do in that first beginning stage. Things are starting to ramp up. I am excited that LeBron and AD should be great right out the gate rather than, kind of the midseason form like you always hear. Oh, LeBron and AD, they're getting in midseason form. They're getting in playoff form, all that stuff. I'm hoping that they're just out the gate ready to throw punches, and that they're in, and because they had such success in the Olympics and both of them were arguably the two best players the entirety of the Olympics, right? Like you add those two guys to this team, they're ready to go out the gate, right? LeBron motivated, he's got his son, right? So he's going to want to look good and play with his son and, win some games and, motivated to try to win a championship and all that stuff. Kind of maybe give him and breathe him some new life, right? It's like, I got my son, I just came off an Olympic gold medal, I got my buddy JJ as the head coach, I like him better than Darvin Ham, let's go, right? Like, that's my hope, that LeBron is kind of ready to to just come out the gate swinging. Same thing with Anthony Davis, right? Kind of get some new life, some fresh excitement coming off gold, helping be leaders on that team, I think could translate well into the season, right? Hopefully Austin Reeves can be a little more consistent. That would be huge. That would be massive. That would be very important. We'll see what happens with D'Lo and Rui and guys like that because, again, Lakers, I know a lot of people don't think that they're going to make a trade, but they very well can, right? It's not off the table, so it's a possibility. So we'll see what happens with them. Once we get closer to training camp, I'll start breaking down even them just because I don't want to do it right now because we're still, a month and a half from training camp. So it's like a lot can happen in that time. So I don't want to start breaking players down and then, a week later they get traded. Again, maybe they don't, right? That's why we have time. It'll be fine. We'll break down players. I do want to start breaking down the players that I'm pretty confident will stay, like Reeves, stuff like that. But we just need more consistency is what it boils down to. Last season, the Lakers were consistently inconsistent, right? Like that was the phrase that we talked about all season, right? Like it was incredibly frustrating. It was like first half, Lakers come out swinging, right? And then second half, they were awful. And then it switched, and then they were terrible. Well, actually, start the season, they were terrible in the first half, great in the second half, right? So first half bad, second half good, and then that flipped. And then it's just, I don't think it's a coincidence that the same issues that the Lakers had and didn't address during the regular season all came to bite them at the end, right? You go into Denver and you play Denver, and Lakers, if the games were over at halftime, Lakers sweep Denver. But guess what? The games weren't over at halftime. They had a whole nother half to play, and Denver just came in and boom, hey, sit down. And there were no real adjustments. When the same thing happens over and over again, right? I'm not big on just blaming the coach. A lot of people love to just find that person and just blame them, right? Darvin Ham, Russell Westbrook, D'Angelo Russell, people love to just find the scapegoat. I'm not big on that. I don't. That's why you see me defend a lot of these players and stuff, right? Or coaches and stuff, because it's just it's a collective effort, right? Coaching only takes you so far. It's up to the players to execute and do the things necessary and hit shots. Like Darvin Ham, even as terrible as he was, and he was awful. He can't control Austin Reeves being awful, right? And he can't control D'Lo being awful and Rui being awful. At some point it's okay, I don't have any more players. At some point it's what do I do here? You just got to trust that they figure it out, right? So there are some things that I think people like to put on the coach that isn't necessarily the coach. But the Denver series, yes, again, a lot of it was the players, but a lot of it was coaching. A lot of it was coaching because there was no real adjustments. And I understand when you're winning, you're up double digits, up 20 at halftime. You're why would we change anything? We're killing it. But then as soon as things start happening, Darvin Ham just had no answer, right? I always talked about it, right? The little box. As long as he could stay in his box, he was fine. No issues. Man, he actually looked like a very good head coach when he could stay in his box. As soon as he had to get out of the box, right? And it just so happened every time it was Denver. Why? Because Denver is that good, right? Denver makes the adjustments. Denver, Mike Malone knew, I need to get Darvin Ham out of his box. As soon as he gets out of his box, that's it. Lakers crumble. And that's what happened every time. Like that things like that are on coaching, right? The fact that the Lakers were up at halftime in every game and lost 4 out of those 5, that's coaching. Because there's no real adjustments. You're not making the changes necessary. If you lost, 1 or 2 of them, that happens. All teams do that, right? Every team, doesn't matter how good, you're up early, team comes back, you lose late, right? So if it would have happened once or twice over, say, a 6-7 game series, I'd be more defensive. But it literally happened every single game. That's on coaching. So my hope is that with JJ Redick, and my thoughts and beliefs are that he won't be in a box because he doesn't have any preconceived notions on how coaching and success should be, right? Like Darvin Ham only knew what he was taught. JJ Redick he's not a predecessor of somebody. Like he didn't learn, this is how you run an this side. No, he's just taking pieces from everything, putting it together. I just have more belief that he'll be able to adjust, and particularly on the fly, better than Darvin Ham would, right? I don't think JJ will be like, I think he'll, obviously every coach wants to stay in a box, but I think if that box isn't working, okay, let's go over here and build a new one. That's not working either. Okay, let's go over here and build a new one. Let's go, no, almost, okay, right here. Okay, there we go. Boom, we found it. We found that success, right? I just don't, and I think he'll be more opening to listening to, a Scott Brooks and a Nate McMillan and all that stuff, right? So I'm just very excited for that going forward. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. Pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you have faith in JJ Redick? Do you not? What do you think of the schedule? Again, the schedule is brutal, right? He doesn't really have a lot of time to figure it out, which is a concern. But do you feel the same way? Again, however you feel, whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.